hero having a sidekick to help on their mission goes back further than any of us were born. The Lone Ranger had Tonto, the Green Hornet had Kato, and of course, Batman had Robin. Robin, or specifically Dick Grayson, was created to give a Watson to Batman's homes. Batman needed somebody to talk to, and the kids reading needed a character they could relate to. Therefore, we get Robin, someone who could relate to Batman's pain, someone Batman could put onto a better path. The Robin template was quickly grafted onto the worlds of other superhero characters. Captain America had Bucky, Green Arrow had Speedy. In the Silver Age, so many DC heroes had sidekicks that it led to them having their own team. Unfortunately, Jimmy Olsen wasn't let onto the team. Outside of the Hulk having Rick Jones, many Marvel heroes were solo crusaders, despite Rick himself wishing he was everyone's sidekick. Here he is as Bucky. Yes, that really happened. Funny enough, Marvel's arguably most popular character was first created to subvert the sidekick trope. Spider-Man was meant to show teenagers could be their own superheroes, which is ironic considering the character's appearances in the MCU have clear parallels to the Robin role. If we take Robin and his contemporaries as our case study, we can see the tumultuous history that the superhero sidekick has had in live action. Characters like Robin and Kato were adapted one-to-one as a normal accepted part of the canon initially, whereas Rick Jones from the Hulk's lore was avoided and has never made a live action appearance to this day. However, when Hollywood took Batman in the darker direction that we're all familiar with, Robin became a problem to solve rather than a supporting character that is expected to be there. Bear in mind, Robin predates Joker, Catwoman, and even Alfred when it comes to Batman's supporting cast. I suppose when you have Jim Gordon and Alfred for Batman to talk to, whilst the audience will see themselves as Batman anyway, Robin's original purpose is already filled by other characters. However, could you picture Sherlock Holmes without John Watson? Bruce Wayne, the ultimate orphan, finding a family of his own is as integral to the character as the Batmobile, but Hollywood seems to favour one over the other. The first problem most run into when including the teen sidekick is the idea of child endangerment. Some comic writers are aware of this and have used it to satirize Batman or represent a character flaw. Bruce looking for a soldier while Richard is just looking for a father. When it comes to the films, this issue is usually sidestepped by aging up the character. From my perspective, this comes with its own problems. When going with an older teen or young adult version of the sidekick, naturally you'll go with an older actor. I think this mindset cripples Batman Forever, for example, because I have no idea how old Dick Grayson is meant to be in that movie, or why Bruce Wayne is adopting a fully grown man. A lot of his dialogue feels less compelling when it's coming from someone who isn't convincing as a teenager, especially in Batman and Robin. Like, what is this guy even doing in the manor at that point? Hollywood has always took the wrong lessons from these movies and just assumed Robin is a death sentence to the franchise. For the longest time, you would get laughed at if you said you liked Robin, or if you suggested he should be in the Nolan Batman films. Hell, the creatives behind the scenes of those films did their best to avoid the character. They even went on to create their own original character to fill the role, who spent more time learning from Jim Gordon than working alongside Batman. Any reason this wasn't just Barbara Gordon? Oh wait, I guess it's because all sidekicks suck. Personally, I don't understand why they would want to avoid a character with such a rich history in the comics and legacy of his own outside of Batman. This mindset definitely found its way into the MCU, where Rick Jones is never seen and Bucky is made the same age as Steve, which is definitely a choice. Superhero stories are often about the impact of fathers and male role models, so it's strange that we're always gun-shy when it comes to letting the hero themselves be the father figure to the audience surrogate. Even Jimmy Olsen in films is always given a reduced role to fill out the Daily Planet cast. Superman's pal doesn't get adventures of his own on the big screen. If he does, he gets shot in the face. but I guess I couldn't have expected much from the same movie that capped Dick Grayson off screen. Filmmakers who adapt superhero stories certainly have a desperation to be taken seriously, and the sidekick almost always ends up being the sacrificial lamb to accomplish that. For all its flaws, the one place to embrace the superhero having a sidekick was the CW. Clark had Pete, Chloe, Jimmy, Kara. In the Arrowverse, Oliver had Roy and Barry had Wally. However, both times it felt like Roy and Wally were kicked off their respective shows as soon as possible. Obviously, there's the show Titans, which started off promising, but I feel that imploded on itself in constant attempts to be taken seriously by people who would never pick up a comic book. I'm hoping things do turn around eventually, especially for DC, as oftentimes the sidekick character ends up having their own expansive storylines separate from the main hero. Here's hoping, with the trajectory of Robert Pattinson's Batman arc, that maybe we'll see Bruce Wayne take a trip to the circus in the near future. Video is over now. Go outside and play.